Yep, you're on camera if you want us to start talking.
Hey guys, welcome to the Friday live stream. So we already got some stuff here. Was that you, Caroline?
Yeah.
All those dudes sliding into your DMs.
No, it was the live going
The
live.
practice squad. Wow, look at all these. Happy Friday, happy Easter, everybody. Let's see what we got. John Robertson. Hey Corey, what do you know about Cyprus? And have you had clients from Cyprus? Yes, I actually talked to one of them a couple months back, and I've had quite a few over the years. I know Erdogan, the Sultan, the leader of Turkey, thinks that Cyprus is part, or he wants to reclaim it as part of the Ottoman Empire. But everybody I talked to from Cyprus, pretty cool people. A lot of them in finance, whatever they do there. So John Simone, you're asking about, I'm pretty sure you posted that exact question yesterday and I answered it, so I'm not going to answer the same one. You have to go look at yesterday's live stream. Or Ahmed Fun says, Coach, she is 3 years older than me and very beautiful. I have never interacted with a girl more beautiful than her. Well, don't pedestalize her. She's just another chick, and you should be vetting. Because when you get dopey and you pedestalize a girl like that, you just completely ignore all the red flags until it's too late, until you get burned. I feel strong competition and slight admiration from her. I am at the beginning. Okay, well, what's your advice? Well, what's your question? You feel strong competition and slight admiration from her. Competition in what way? So you'll have to actually put your question in there so it makes sense.
Tiago Marquez asked how to avoid familiarity contempt after moving in together.
Well, you got to have friends, family, other interests outside of your relationship. The biggest thing I see guys do when they move in with somebody or they get into a long-term relationship is that their friends just kind of, their relationships fade away, their hobbies fade away. If their girl nags it, oh, you never spend enough time, you're in the garage too much, you're always playing with your Star Wars or your Legos or your train set, or you're always working on that old car. And then the guy thinks, oh, you know what, I'll just get rid of this so she doesn't nag me anymore. The next thing you know, 2 years later, you haven't talked to your best friend in a year or two, and your whole life revolves around waiting on her hand and foot. So two people come together to share their completeness, not to complete one another. And so it's tough because if your girl is head over heels in love with you, she's going to want all your attention all the fucking time. So you're going to have to resist the urge to give up all your hobbies and your interests and only do things with her. You got to continue to be the same well-rounded person you were, because if you don't, she will lose attraction.
DRL asks Corey, how can you take an extended annual research sabbatical while continuing to grow your business and ensuring your team has opportunities for growth and job security?
Well, you're going to have to obviously look at your numbers, but the most important thing in that makes that possible is the team. If you've got the right people on your bus, your corporate bus, so to speak, and in the right positions, they should be able to run things even when you're not there. If the business only functions or runs when you're there, then you don't really have a business, you have a job. So again, if you got the right people, shouldn't be too much of a problem. Obviously, you'll have to check in with them and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and make important decisions when it's required. But other than that, if you got the right people, it shouldn't be a problem. If you got the wrong people, it's not going to work. Your business will crash and burn without you.
Income Tools asks, been laying around all day. Thoughts on having days like this?
Days like this are essential. Lay around, do nothing. Because especially if you're a busy person and then all of a sudden you take a day off like that, you're going to feel guilty. That was one of the things I struggled with when I was younger, is, especially after I got out of real estate, was just being okay with not doing anything for the day. Because you feel guilty. You know, especially when you look out the window and you see all the people in 9 to 5 and their traffic jams and everything, and then you're just kind of sitting there chilling, laying on the beach or whatever. So it's nice to do. You need to do that. And if you haven't done it in a long time, you should force yourself to do it leave your digital devices behind and then just go chill on the beach, or hang out in your swing in your backyard, listen to the wind blow through the trees. But you got to do it.
It's nice to recharge sometimes,
Yeah.
because then afterwards you're like, okay, I'm ready to like get on my hustle.
Yeah, because it's like it hits a kind of like a soft reset, because you force yourself to stay away from your computer and your digital devices, and then the next day, because you took a break, you feel refreshed. But if you work too much, like when I was in the construction industry, what we found is, people would be willing to work 7 days a week to get the extra hours, but it's once they got past like 50 or 60 hours a week, their productivity actually went down. Even if they worked an extra 10 to 15 hours, we found that they were actually weren't they became less productive. And so if they worked 80 hours versus 60, the production you got out of 80 hours was basically the same. But as a business, you end up paying for an extra 20 hours and you don't get much productivity. So you got to recharge. You got to have breaks.
Zenny asked, girl I'm dating just asked if we are in a situationship. What do I say?
Well, he says, is that what, you're giving me situationship vibes. Is that what you want? Well, remember, what does the book say? Whoever's asking the questions is the one running the conversation. And so if she's asking you that, you should answer the question with your own question. You could say, well, what do you mean? Why do you say situationship vibes? Is that what you're looking for? Ask her. Get her to tell you, because she's the one that's feeling it and thinking it. And so instead of guessing or potentially saying something you're going to regret, get her to tell you what she means. That's one of the best questions you can learn with women is, what do you mean? What do you mean? Where are you coming from? I don't understand what you're trying to say or you're implying.
Unless the woman says, what do you mean? What do I mean?
I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Situationship? What is a situationship?
Yeah,
what
like
do you mean by that?
what's a situationship vibe?
Yeah, get her to tell you. She's the one. Like, what do you mean by a situationship vibe? What is that?
Kane Miss asked Coach, how do you tactfully ask about her past to vet if she's cheated or been cheated on, since it's taboo to bring up her past?
Well, what you're trying to do is you're obviously trying to vet her character. And so one of the things you should do on your first date is, are you close to your family? Are you close with your dad? Are you close with your mom? Your parents have a good relationship? Do they get along? Are they together? Are they not? Was there any cheating in your family? Have you ever been cheated on? Have you ever cheated on anybody? Those are questions because you're trying to assess her character. Is she a loyal person? And you don't want to find that out 6 months after you met, but you're trying to get an idea. Does she keep her word? Does she honor her commitments? Is she a good judge of character? Or if she's been perpetually cheated on, well, either she's a shitty judge of character, or more than likely she's probably a liar and cheater as well. So those are, you're not asking about specific individual relationships, but just, asking her about her parents. Are you close with your dad? And if she says, oh, I love my dad, well, tell me more about that. Like, how often do you guys talk? How often do you see each other? Because a girl who loves her father and respects her father and admires him and respects his authority is typically going to respect yours. But if she doesn't respect her father and she walks all over him and he's kind of soft and squishy, what you're going to find is that she just doesn't, not only does she not respect her father, but she doesn't respect men in general. And because of that, because she didn't respect her father, she's not going to respect you. And women like that can be really difficult to be with.
Michaela's papa asks, Coach, my girlfriend's brother is requesting her permission to host his best friend in the same house they live in. Is it okay if my girlfriend sleeps in her house with him?
Well, it kind of sounds like, hey, is it okay if my girlfriend fucks her brother's best friend? Well, I mean, if she lives with her brother and her brother invites somebody to stay over, it's like, what are you going to do? Unless it's like, hey, I want you to host my best friend and I'm going to live somewhere else. That would be kind of unusual. That almost would sound like her brother is trying to get her to date one of his friends because he potentially doesn't like you.
If you vetted her properly, then you shouldn't have to worry about her.
Well, again, if her brother is her roommate, then it's really kind of a non-issue. I would assume this friend is not going to be sleeping in her bedroom with her.
W asked, I have tried.
We answered his question. Yes, right.
Who?
He has a second
Okay.
question. I have tried to. I have tried to have her come over and she says no, but keeps calling me, contacting me almost every day. What can I do?
Stop asking her to come over. Keep your conversation short. If she's texting you, send 2 to 3 replies max, and then say, hey, I gotta run. I'll talk to you later. If she calls you, talk for 2 or 3 minutes, and say, hey, it was great hearing your voice. I gotta run. Talk to you later. And one of two things will happen. She'll either bring up getting together or she'll stop contacting you. Where you go wrong is if a girl keeps reaching out to you and you've asked two different times in a row to get together and she won't do it, but yet she keeps calling you, you've basically become her emotional tampon and probably part of her backup plan. So she's just kind of stirring the pot and want you to stay in the hook. So, she's not earning your attention. So I wouldn't keep chit-chatting with her on the phone. Like I said, text replies should be 2 to 3 max, and then you got to dip. If she calls you, talk for 2 or 3 minutes, and then excuse yourself, tell her you got to run, you got a meeting, or you got to go. You'll talk to her later.
Alex Cinto asks, Corey, I'm in the hotel industry and plan to move to Orlando next year. What's your take on living Orlando? I know you were fond of it in the book.
I love Orlando. It's a great city. I lived there for 20 plus years. For the hotel industry, because there's so much travel with all the theme parks, there's a lot of job opportunities if you're in the hospitality industry. So what you should do even like when I moved back up there, even though I was a realtor and I'd been in every neighborhood, probably drove most of the streets, especially when I was doing flipping foreclosure properties. I mean, I was everywhere, and so I knew the city pretty well, but I wasn't sure where I wanted to live. And so the first month or two after I moved, actually almost close to 3 months, I stayed at one of those like extended stays because I was trying to figure out, do I want to live downtown? Because at that point, when I moved back up there, all those new high rises were downtown, whereas when I moved away, they were all under construction, and I wanted to see what the vibe was like. And so I ended up moving into one that was on Lake Eola, and then I was going to get a bigger unit. And then the idiot leasing agent ends up not putting in the system that it was rented, and then they rented it to somebody else. And then the nice thing about that is they let me out of my lease. And so I moved to a really nice luxury building downtown, and I got to put that place I had for 6 or 7 years, I think it was, until my woke idiot landlord, who was a doctor, he was a pathologist. He'd always been a nice guy. His wife was cool. We hung out and they would invite me over to their parties and stuff. They were very social, but he was a woke idiot. And he and his wife were on the board, and they were one of the ones that decided to shut the gym down. You weren't allowed to go out in the pool, which, I mean, it was an all open air pool, which I just thought was ridiculous. And I was like, what's up with this? It's like, why, I came to stay up here in my place so I could have access to the gym. And, he was just kind of like a dick. He was an arrogant and condescending. And I'd been on month to month for many years with him. And he goes, stay COVID free. And I was like, fuck you, you bitch. So I ended up moving to a different community. And I never saw or spoke to him again.
Kareen, how do you balance not settling while also practicing your skills on women you're not crazy about to get the repetition?
What? How do you practice? Well, you got to practice. It doesn't mean you have to go out and date women that you don't like, but you got to practice the skills, because what happens when you meet a girl you really like, if you haven't practiced the stuff enough, then you're going to have a hard time dealing with your emotions and exercising emotional self-control when you really like the girl. So you got to practice. Repetition's the mother of skill. It's the only way you get better. You shouldn't be going out with girls that you don't like or aren't interested in. That's not what I'm teaching you to do, but you got to practice the skills that are in there. So you got to get off your ass and go out and mingle with other people. You can't just sit at home and flip through your phone all day long.
Andre the Swordsman and Gamer sent a GIF. He said, bless you, Corey, for helping to prevent population decline worldwide.
Well, I know there's been a lot of babies born because of my work. A lot of people got back together that wouldn't have otherwise.
Did you do this?
By the way, here's some Corey's green juice having after my lunch, which is really good.
And also a member for 12 months, Jade Boogie, said, "Hey coach, a girl said she forgot about a date, so I figured she wasn't interested. We go to the same gym. I greet her sometimes at the gym, but the interaction is standoffish. I'm wrong if I ignore her."
Well, if a girl, oh, I forgot about a date, she didn't forget. She just didn't fucking care. So that's a garbage human. And you weren't important enough to her to keep the date, so you don't owe the bitch anything. You know, if you see her and you make eye contact, you can smile and wave and then go about your business. Don't go out of your way to talk to her. I wouldn't even look in her direction. I'd be talking to other girls and other people that are there as if she's invisible because she fucked up. The only way she's ever going to get another chance with you is she reaches out to you and asks you out. Because that's rude to stand you up or to blow you off. Oh, I forgot about her date. It's like she didn't forget. She just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
She's lying to you.
That's rude.
Rude. Vince M. Hi, everyone. My girlfriend had a miscarriage, and I was wondering what's the best way to comfort her and move forward with our lives. I planned some fun, exciting dates for us, but would love any tips.
Well, you got to be the fun escape from that. There's no reason to dwell on it. Get her mind off of things and take her away for the weekend. Go to a bed and breakfast. Go to the beach. Just get out and go do fun things. What is the formula? Hang out, have fun, and hook up. I just did a video newsletter this past week with a guy who's, I think it was his girlfriend, had been the primary caretaker for her mother for the last 6 months, and their mother finally passed away, and the rest of the siblings didn't really do shit to help her out, which is typically what happens. Most of the family members don't want to help out, and then as soon as that person dies, and they all got their hands out wanting their percentage of their inheritance. So anything you can do to go have fun, don't dwell on it. Oh, how you doing? Are you feeling better? It's just go have fun. If she wants to talk about it, you're happy to listen, but other than that, it doesn't do any good to dwell on it. It does do good to just hang out, have fun, and hook up, because she will forget about it, and she'll appreciate that. Because whatever you make her feel when she's with you is what she's going to associate with being with you. So Joshua Smuha, following 7 principles, she's doing all the pursuing and I make dates. Interest is slowly going up, but if it ever stays stagnant, do you ever bail or call it a lost cause? Like her to come back, but don't want to waste time. Well, what this tells me, Joshua, is that you're focused on the future instead of living in the moment, the present moment, which is the only moment that exists. And you have an unhealthy need for certainty that it's going to work out. And when you're dealing with an unpredictable woman, that's not helpful. You have to be okay with not knowing. And so you got to stay focused, stay on task. You wait to hear from her. When you do, you assume she wants to see you and you make the next date. That's all you can do. If she fades away, so what? Go date somebody else.
Income Tools asks, been getting rejected a lot lately, especially by a girl I really liked. Any tips to keep it moving when dealing with the emotions that come with it?
Well, you're going to have to get over it because most of the time you're going to fail. Most of the girls that you like are not going to like you. I'm just a regular average guy. It's, over the course of my life, all the cold approaches and all the girls I've gone after, the overwhelming majority have been like, survey says, eh. You got to be okay with that. Because you're looking for compatibility. That's really what approaching a woman is. Are you in or you out? Do you like me enough to go out with me or not? That's all you need to know. And you got to become okay with hearing lots of no's. Because you got to get through the no's in order to get to the yeses. And all you need is one good yes. And then you're set. So this is part of life. You have to become okay with it. You have to look forward to failure. You have to look forward to rejection. Because it's like each time you get rejected, you're closer to a yes. That's the way you got to look at it. And you got to go through the permutations. There's no shortcuts to success. You got to open that big hole in your face. I mean, if you're an average dude like me, it's, you're going to deal with rejection. I had lots of friends over the course of my life. They're really handsome, really good looking, and all I had to do was smile, and girls would, basically drop their fucking panties to be with them. I'm not that guy, and it doesn't sound like you are either. But hey, life's not fair. So on to the next. Don't get hung up on one girl. Who cares if you really liked her and she didn't like you back? It's irrelevant. That's like getting excited about a chick you saw in a magazine or that you saw online, or thirsting after some chick that's got 5 million followers on Instagram that lives on the other side of the world. It's who cares if she doesn't like you?
I mean, clearly he's doing something wrong if he's constantly getting rejected.
Well, you're gonna get rejected most of the time. That's why if you're having a hard time with it, it's why it's better to approach women that at least make eye contact and smile with you. And still, some of those are gonna reject you, because the vibe they give off and the way they make eye contact, it looks like they're interested and they're available. And then you go talk to them like, oh, I'm married, or oh, I have a boyfriend. Well, obviously, if they're eye fucking you, they probably aren't really that happy in their relationship. But so you should take it as a compliment that somebody some chick who's taken is checking you out.
Stefan Georgiev. Hey Corey, how do you go about a girl that expresses she likes you verbally, but physically she is holding back? I don't keep pushing when I sense this.
Well, when you're with her, again, you're looking for the signs that are in the book, that she's ready to be touched, ready to be kissed, ready to be seduced. So you're just going to respond to how she's showing up. If you're worried about kissing her or getting rejected, you do the kiss test with her. And if the kiss test shows that she's ready to be kissed, then kiss her. So that tells me that you're unsure, you're unable to tell when a girl likes you or not. And so that tells me you don't know the book well enough. There's no shortcuts to it, to success. You're going to have to learn the book.
Vince M says, "Hi everyone. My girlfriend had a miscarriage and I was wondering what's the best way to comfort her."
We just did that one.
Oh, we did.
Bob Q says, Corey, sir, your book has changed my dating life. I used to suck so bad, and now I can teach a class on it. I have read your book over 13 times and listened to Audible over 37 times. Thank you. Well, thanks for being a good student, because that's what it takes. And the rest of you guys that are watching and listening, there's no shortcuts to success. Again, he read the book 13 times, and he's listened to Audible over 37. So that's somebody that took his success seriously, and that's why he's getting great results.
John B. 78. Hey coach, my gal racked up 35 partners during college, but is an amazing girlfriend and hasn't given me any reason to worry so far. Should I be bothered?
No, she's loyal and faithful. That's all that really matters. I mean, again, I've said this a lot of times, especially dudes that haven't gotten laid a lot, or the red pill guys, they go fucking bananas when I say this, but the average girl, I mean, when I was in middle school, girls were fucking their boyfriends in 7th and 8th grade. So, if you think about that, most women are becoming sexually active between 14, 16 years old. And what I saw in my high school, and this is back in the 80s when supposedly things weren't like they are today, even though I went to a Catholic high school with all these girls that were raised in good, wealthy families and had good parents, but on average, they're dating 2 or 3 different dudes throughout the school year. And if you assume that they're sleeping with all of those guys because they think it's going to turn into a relationship, I mean, and then you take 4 years of college, most women by the time they graduate college, when you take into account when they became sexually active, they've at least slept with 25 different guys. So, I mean, if she's loyal and faithful, that's what really matters. Because, it's just stupidity and ignorance to think that because the girl's a virgin, or that you're her first, or that she comes from a different country, that just because she's a virgin, you could slack off and she'll just love you forever. That's not how it works. If you act like a bitch, women are going to treat you like a bitch. Even the chick that's a virgin that you date. So, and if the chick's a virgin and she comes from a family where everybody was cheating on each other and she's a liar, well, at some point she's going to cheat on you. So just because she's got a low body count, that doesn't mean anything. The only thing that matters is the character. Character's destiny.
What age was the oldest virgin guy story you've seen?
The oldest virgin guy story?
So let's say they're a virgin at like 52. What's the highest?
Oh, the oldest?
Yeah.
Well, I've had lots of guys that have been real, whether they were Mormons, some are Jewish, some are Christian, and I've done phone sessions with guys that didn't lose their virginity until they're in their fucking 40s.
That's crazy.
That I can remember, and it was because their religion was like, oh, no sex till marriage, that kind of thing.
Rusty Mertz, how long did it take for you to practice the 3% way of life to it becoming second nature? You've helped me immeasurably. Thank you.
Well, it wasn't until my early 30s that things really clicked, and I didn't have a book like mine. I had other books. I mean, I knew Doc Love stuff, but it didn't have everything in there that I needed to know. So it was a lot of trial and error, and things didn't really click for me until my early 30s. And I had been wanting and trying to understand women and figure them out since I was in middle school. So that was a long time. You figure middle school, what are you, like 12, 13, 14?
Yeah.
My friends are dating and going out on dates. And so it's like, it took me 20 years basically from the time I was ready and wanted to date till I felt like, I wasn't bamboozled anymore.
I think it's different because when we were in middle school, you're saying like you're like 13, 14 years old actually going on dates. Like I wasn't allowed to do that. And none of the kids that we were just, if you want to see your significant boyfriend, whatever, girlfriend, you saw them at school.
I had friends
Or
in
church.
elementary school in 5th grade who were dating girls there. They walk around school holding hands. It was like,
Yeah,
everybody
but
thought
I
it was
mean,
cute. It was like, the
yeah.
teachers were like, oh, they're so cute together.
They're like, I remember I liked this boy when I was, I think I was 4, and he was like 6, and I held him down in a ditch and kissed him.
At 4 years old?
Yeah.
Damn.
His name was Cameron. I think I beat him up in the ditch, and then I kissed him.
Yeah, it's that Cherokee blood in you.
How do you
Wanted to get a
remember
scalp.
that?
Oh, I remember it. My grandma was sitting on the porch. She was like, Jade, what are you doing to him?
Kane Miss asked, what age, no. Seafood Black asks, do you allow students of your work onto your podcast?
I have had a few of them on, but no, we typically don't. And usually the people that are wanting to come on the podcast or they have ulterior motives for being here.
Like what?
I don't know. What do you think it could be, Caroline?
To promote.
Either
themselves.
promote something or to get introduced to some of the girls. Yeah, Logan was on. Logan Long Duck Dong.
Long duck dong. Thank you.
You ever saw 16 Candles, which is a great fucking movie.
W, Coach, have you ever gotten heartbroken, and how did you get over it?
Of course, I think everybody has. It's just time. Time and a new girl. Nothing will make you forget about a heartbreak quicker than a new piece of pussy.
Maudie A. Corey, I heard you talk about the red pill multiple times. What do you think about the black pill, which is becoming more popular, it seems?
Well, from what I understand, the black pill is just nihilistic.
It's very
Just
doom
give
and gloom.
up. You're fucked anyways.
The West has fallen.
West is fallen. All modern women suck. It's easy to quit. It's easy to be a loser. It's easy to give up. And if somebody is proclaiming to be black pill, they're just trying to mainstream loser think. And quite frankly, most people major in minor things, and so there's going to be a lot more people that will follow black pill than would follow me because it's easier to quit and be a loser and give up. It's hard to do this stuff. It's not easy to go from where you are to coming across my book for the first time and reading it and then applying it. That's why most people don't have the lives that they want. So when you see people that are claiming to be black pill, just stay away from them. They're nihilistic. They have no will to live. I would avoid them at all costs.
So this is from Brian Bondi. It's not a question, but he's just saying, I have listened to the audiobook more times than I can count. I smile, banter with strangers all the time. I'm turning 41 in a couple of days, and for the first time in my life, I have a practice squad.
Sweet. Congratulations.
Tyrone asks, why do shy women at drive-through coffee shops have their friends vet you for months without ever talking to you?
Probably because you're dumb enough to fall into that trap. You want to go out with, why are you talking to the friends instead of the girl? That tells me probably he's trying to talk to the friends because he's having the courage to talk to the girl he likes, which is a bad way to go. And if a woman is doing that, you're getting punked because she's using her friends to cockblock you and keep you at arm's length. And you're like a ball of yarn to a cat, and the cats are just playing with you.
Or she's young and immature.
Yeah, she's either in or she's out. She either likes you or she doesn't. And if she's making you jump through all these hoops, they're probably all laughing and giggling about you that you're so gullible. So don't waste your time with that nonsense.
David Hall says, why don't guys have women open the car door for them and carry them over the threshold? We demand equal romantic rights.
Well, because women physically, in most cases, can't do that. They can't pick you up.
Yeah, it's a no for me.
Immediately now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hurt my arm today opening a car door, so we're back to square one in physical therapy.
Nice.
So.
WJM84. What's the difference between a man who understands women, doesn't argue with them, versus a man who needs to stand up to women to earn their respect? Maybe I missed it.
Well, arguing with women is arguing over something that happened. Like, one of the prime examples is most guys don't understand how women speak in hyperbole. And because I see this a lot. And what do women typically say? If they don't feel like you're dating them enough or spending enough time together, they'll say, we never do anything. You never take me anywhere. And when a guy hears that, he's thinking, man, I'm busting my ass. I'm spending all this money on this girl. I just took her away a few weeks ago and spent a bunch of money on her for the weekend. And literally 2 weeks later, she's going, we never do anything. You never take me anywhere. And so the guy wants to defend what he's been doing. And all she's really saying in her own way, her womanese, is, hey, I'd like to go on another date as soon as possible with you. So when she says, you never take me anywhere, and you're like, and your impulses say, I just took you away for 2 weeks, a week and a half ago, instead say, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry. I haven't been as attentive lately, but let's do something special this weekend. Thanks for bringing that up. Because as soon as you do that, she's like, oh, he listened. He cares.
Steve said, my ex has been to our house twice since moving out. I raised attraction both times. Ended up hooking up last time. It's been 10 days. She keeps moving stuff out though. Advice to read attraction for an ex.
Who cares if she's moving stuff out? The bottom line is she's coming over and getting a booty call with you. And as the book says, your job is to create an opportunity for sex tap and hang out, have fun, hook up. So if she keeps moving stuff out, whatever, guess, congratulations, your house is less cluttered. You got more room for yourself. So create the next opportunity for sex tap when it presents itself. She can move out, she can come back. It's like when the cat, whatever the cat does, it doesn't matter. Just when the opportunity is there, lay the pipe.
Nick Butler. Girl at gym keeps interrupting my workouts to talk, but when asked to grab a drink, she's got plans and doesn't offer an alternative date. How do you politely end combos at the gym when she wants to talk? That's annoying.
Well, she obviously likes the attention, and if you've asked her out a couple times and she just says she's too busy, you could always politely excuse yourself. You know, maybe you got put your ear pods in. If you see she's coming in your direction, put your little ear pods in. And if she wants to talk to you, just say, you pull it out and say, oh, hey, how you doing? And she wants to, oh, come over and see how you are. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I got an audiobook that I'm listening to for work, and I have to get through it, but I can't really talk right now. But you got my number. Hit me up. And then put your ear pods back in. And, I got to get back to my workout because I got a meeting I got to make. So sorry, but I just don't have time to chat with you today.
That would be crazy. I know that girl would probably be like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because probably most of the time you drop what you're doing and you sit there cracking jokes. But at the end of the day, scarcity creates value. If she's just over there wasting your time because she likes the attention from you and she knows that you like her, she's probably just keeping you warm because Chad Thundercock is currently beating up her pelvis. So until you hear otherwise from her, don't let her waste your time. All right, dude, don't be spamming stuff into the comments like that.
Tiago Marquez, serious question for the girls to know how to interact with my girlfriend. Do you still need warm-up, i.e. foreplay, when you're ovulating, or do you also enjoy a hot surprise straight to the point? In a new place once in a while? Question mark.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where was this question?
It's up a few.
when you are ovulating. That's so
read
random.
that again.
That's
Well,
so
if you're
random.
ovulating, that's when. Are you ready to have a baby, Tiago?
Yeah.
because that's when you're gonna get a surprise.
Right there.
Oh, I see it here. Mm-hmm.
Where is it?
Do you still need warm
And then-
up foreplay when you're ovulating, or do you also enjoy a hot surprise straight to the point? No, you always need to foreplay and warm up a woman. You're not gonna just stick it straight in. I'm
Unless
sorry,
she's-
that's not happening.
Unless she's already trying to rip your britches off, then
Yeah, if she's grabbing your dick and putting her hands down your pants and massaging your cock,
then she's ready right then and there.
she's ready to get it on, and then you'll find out that as soon as your hot dog touches her bun, it's already kind of dripping wet.
Her butt.
It's a weird question.
I don't know why ovulating though. Why ovulating?
Yeah, that's just weird.
He's probably thinking, oh, she's ovulating, now she's gonna be extra horny, so I can just slip it in, get a quickie, and then wham bam, thank you, man. Hey, I gotta get
that's
to
not
work
how
now.
it works.
Yeah, but you're ovulating, you're gonna have a baby.
Well, I mean, typically you start touching and kissing, and your hands move around, and then you just start taking off each other's clothes. Lay her down, get on top of her, and start moving the hot dog back and forth up and down the bun. And then as soon as you feel it getting a little wet and slippery, they can. Hot beef injection. Anyways.
Brandon, member for 11 months, said, I got busy and took 3 to 4 months off of dating. Getting back into it now. I've had good first dates. She does most of the talking, and I passed the kiss test. But no second date. What are your thoughts?
Maybe you had bad breath. Maybe you weren't very good at kissy poo. Maybe her ex-boyfriend came back in the picture. Maybe she decided she didn't like you, or the other guy, one of the other guys she was talking to, that she didn't think it was going to go anywhere with him. Now it is. So if she won't set a second date, or she ghosted you, it's the door slammed in your face, on to the next. I mean, those things are going to happen. Sometimes you're going to go out with a girl and you're going to be sure she's into you, and then, especially if you meet her online, that's going to happen. Again, that's why it's so much better to meet women in person through your social network, especially if you're introduced to other people or you meet them at a barbecue or whatever. Like when you have mutual friends and acquaintances in common, if a chick dicks you around, she's going to hear about it. If you dick her around, you're going to hear about it. But when you're only dating women that you meet online that are complete strangers, it's like you're going to get blown off. You're going to have girls that ghost you, and things are going to happen that don't make sense. And that's, you know, again, if you guys are going to lean on your digital device, understand that nobody that she knows you, and vice versa. So you should expect that you're going to get jerked around a lot. That's why you got to have a great social life.
Mr. Din, me and my long distance girlfriend were looking to move in recently, but she's changed her mind to prioritize career opportunities. I feel I've made mistakes that changed her mind. What do you think?
Well, if she's long distance, who was going to move? Was she going to move, or were you going to move? And at the end of the day, if she doesn't want to move in, that just means her interest isn't high enough. And that tells me you're focused on moving in with her. And so you're clearly focused more on your interest in her, and you're ignoring her lower interest in you. And again, you got to learn the book. You can't half-ass it. So these things are happening. Her interest is dropping, and you're not understanding why. And you know you've made mistakes, but it doesn't seem like you actually know what your mistakes are. And this is what a cherry picker sounds and talks like. So cherry picking doesn't work. It doesn't give you sustainable success.
Has Yefa Khan, Jade and Caroline, have you had to drop the we never do anything recently?
Have you?
No, but I'm 16 weeks pregnant, so most of the
Oh,
time.
damn. You went and just told everybody.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mic drop.
So my plans are usually not as fun, and I'm not capable of doing the things I would used to do. But
No more hard seltzers for you.
yeah, but we do fun activities, going to lunch or going for a little walk or something like that, but not going out to, bars having drinks or going to like concerts really anymore.
Yeah, so you guys that get upset about me having the puppies on camera at times, you're going to get really upset when you hear a baby going, wah, wah. but this is real life.
Yeah.
So you guys have been asking for new content, and there you go.
There you go.
We got
We get to
puppies
watch
and babies.
Jade's beer gut grow. She's kind of officially got a baby bump. She was showing it off before we started filming.
Oh yeah, I don't.
You gonna
She's
show
definitely
it?
noticed. Oh,
She's gonna show it.
she's gonna turn sideways. Oh, look.
Here it is.
There you go.
Yay, my little tiny bump.
It could be a baby bump, or people be going, "Oh, maybe she just needs to take a big dump."
I do have to
Okay.
That's perfect timing.
All right. Well,
Um,
if the baby bump is gone, then we know she was just a little backed up.
Joel P asks, "What are Corey's real thoughts on attachment theory?"
Honestly, I don't really give a shit about that because attraction cuts through everything. If she's normal and healthy, she's going to respond to what's in the book. If she's messed up in a Fruit Loop, you're going to have problems. And that's what the book is designed to do, is to bring out the best and the best really quick and the worst and the worst really quick.
Sap tag. The girl I am hooking up with has started saying "you are mine" while making out. Is this exclusivity hint, and what to do?
Say, what do you mean I'm yours? Like property? I mean, like you're going to put a leash on me? Like, what does that mean? Are you trying to say I'm your boyfriend now? Or that you're my girlfriend? What are you trying to tell me? What does that mean? You got to ask the question. The quality of your relationships is in direct proportion to the quality of the questions that you consistently ask each other. So don't assume what she means. Just say, what do you mean? Why do you say that? What do you mean I'm yours?
Or is she just trying to be flirty and hot and be like, "You're mine"?
Yeah, exactly. Ask her. Is the baby bump still there, Jade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Andre MK. Female worker said, "I don't communicate with guys. When I asked her for her number after her flirting and touching me and letting me touch her and asking me to have lunch with her at work every day."
What?
Was that even a question?
Is that one on screen?
Wait, the black one. Yeah.
Andre MK, female coworker said, "I don't communicate with guys.
There we go. Do it again.
I don't communicate with guys." So what she's really saying is she enjoyed, dangling the carrot in front of you, but she's not into you. So what she really says, I'm not going to communicate with you, but I sure like it that you like me. It's like little kitty cat playing with a ball of yarn. You're her ball of yarn for the day.
Or she just enjoys your company and she enjoys your friendship. And you need to just understand that.
Yeah, if
And
you're
understand
interested in
your
sex
place.
and romance, don't sit there and be her ball of yarn. Go talk to a girl who's into you. And let her see you right off in the sunset with some other chick who does talk to guys.
You could always invite the girl that you're actually getting laid by to lunch with her one day and show her what she's missing.
Mahadi A. Corey, you say you love your family and choose your peers. How tolerant should you be with toxic family members? Is there a point you should walk away and mean it? What is a healthy boundary?
The healthy boundary is don't let anybody abuse you verbally, mentally, emotionally. So if you ask whoever this toxic person is or persons in your family to treat you differently and they continue to be abusive, well, then you gotta give them the gift of missing you. So it's like in jiu-jitsu, you manage the distance between you and them.
David Hall says, "I had a girl tell me that's my D word." I don't know if you want to say that.
That's my Mr. Snuffleupagus.
What does that mean? I guess it means I'm not allowed to share it.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring. Well, she really likes your cock. That's what it means. She really likes it.
This question is from JB. Yo, Corey, what era was better, 80s, 90s, or 2000s?
Choose wisely.
They were all great.
Aren't you going to say the 40s?
The
The
40s?
40s.
Well, my dad was born in 49, so even him, he had he was a baby, so he wouldn't even know how to tell you. And both my grandfathers were in World War II then, and I know at least my dad's dad, because my other grandfather died when I was like 6. My my dad's father, he was very proud of his service and he loved talking about it. And anytime we were over at Sunday on, for dinner or whatever, he was always telling a war story, usually ones we hadn't heard before. And he was also a historian. So after the war, he spent his life just studying and reading about it. And so he was fascinated by the conflict. He was in 5 invasions. So he was in the Navy.
But you always referred to, sorry. Don't you always refer to movies from back in the day?
Well, like if you want to look at like healthy archetypes, when the movies presented men being masculine and women being feminine, movies in the like It's a Wonderful Life was made in I think it was 1946, 47, I think it was, and it had some World War II stuff in there, like his brother was a pilot and he returned home after the war, that kind of thing. But yeah, you notice that through the 40s, the 50s, early 60s, and then all of the hippie movement and which was basically cultural Marxism and communist ideological subversion taking over the university system and Hollywood. That you had those kind of archetypes where it was like free love and everybody's like basically a disposable drone of the state. You don't really have any individual rights. It's more important for the good of the collective. And the difference with collectivism, people get reduced to disposable drones, whereas individualism, every life is precious. That's why, again, we're entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if you're entitled to life, in other words, you own yourself, you own your body, that's another reason why the founding fathers, in their infinite wisdom, had the Second Amendment. Because if somebody wants to take away your rights or take your life, you have every right to end theirs instantly.
Should we have like a moment of silence for FSU?
No, I'm not doing a moment of silence for that.
Do you want to recognize what happened?
So what I know so far about the FSU, the shooter was I guess his mother was a retired cop.
Yeah.
And he got into her guns and took one of her guns to school. So you have somebody that was in law enforcement who's supposed to protect us. If I was a betting man, I'm pretty sure, because every single mass shooter that I've seen that behaves like that kid behaved is on some kind of psychotropic drug. So I would want to know what drugs was he on, because until those drugs came along 30, 40 years ago, these things weren't happening. We always have had guns, but it's once people started taking those psychotropic drugs that basically turns off your emotions and your empathy. Again, the gun doesn't do the shooting. It's the person that's pulling the trigger that does it.
Right.
And so the question is what happened in his family and what drugs was he on that made him think that this was a good course of action to take for his life. And that shit would have never happened. I saw the video because somebody had a film of him shooting at other students. The dude's in the open. If you had somebody that knew what they were doing, it would be so easy to shoot that little prick in the face and end it like that. Any teacher, administrator, fellow student that was properly licensed could have easily neutralized that little prick like that. But instead, we got to have gun-free zones because Democrats are fucking morons. They don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in the Second Amendment. So they'd rather us all send our kids to those universities where they're sitting ducks, because the shooter knew nobody was going to have a gun to stop them. Gun-free zones don't work. It's against the law to kill people. It's against the law to shoot people. And when you create a gun-free zone, that's why the shooters go there, is because they know nobody's going to challenge them, which is asinine stupidity. But all the, what I saw Trump getting questioned earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are you going to change any of the gun laws? Has your thinking changed? Or do you think we need to pass more laws? It's like the law, everything that kid did was illegal, but didn't stop him. His mother was a former law enforcement officer. She was a sheriff's deputy. She's the one that allowed him to get the gun. So if law enforcement is allowing their children to get guns and then kill innocent people in a gun-free zone, whose fault is that? Is that the state's fault? Is it our fault? It's the parents' fault.
Did you see that one video of the girl? I think it was a girl. She was drinking Starbucks.
Yeah, probably some fat, obese chick that was, she's just walking with her latte, doesn't even bother to stop and check in the girl. She's, oh, look at that. Oh, somebody got shot in the ass.
There's someone bleeding out, and she just had her.
She didn't care.
Was walking, filming it, and just drinking her Starbucks.
Yeah, it's just some nihilistic kid.
Didn't stop to help.
I believe
Nothing.
the girl survived.
No
actually.
tourniquet.
The girl
Yeah,
survived.
I heard that too, that she survived.
God bless her.
So again, somebody that was trained in concealed carry, all you really need is about 10,000 rounds through a pistol, 10,000 rounds through a rifle, probably 6 months of training, moving shooting, force on force training, and you'll be able to quickly eliminate a little prick like that. And here's another thing. A study just came out this past week where this is a fact. People that are concealed carry permit holders, people like myself, are more likely, and when you look at it as a whole, we stop more mass shooters than the police do.
That's right.
That's a fact of life. But the Democrats want everybody disarmed because eventually they want to be able to send the government and people that they designate to have weapons to use those weapons to eliminate or to force people in society to live the way they want them to live. This shit ain't about saving lives. This is about them imposing their Marxist agenda where only the government and government agents could have guns. Because there are people in society that they hate and they want to punish and they want to send people with guns that they say are okay to have guns to kill you, your family, and anybody who doesn't comply with their wishes. That's a fact of life that we have to live with. So
we have
it's a tragedy, but it's, you know, it's like that idiot, what's her name? Gabby Gifford, Mark Kelly's wife, the one that she got shot by a pistol with a mentally ill dude that showed up at one of her rallies. And so her solution is, oh, we're going to eliminate the Second Amendment. And it's morons like her and her fucking beta male husband, who, I don't care if he was an F-16 pilot, he's a fucking beta male. He's anti-Constitution. He's violating his oath to the Constitution. He's not a patriot. He's a fucking communist. I don't care what comes out of his mouth. He is happier to see people die and get shot and have nothing happen. What's that? I don't care, because this shit pisses me off. People die because of morons like that. And the media is full of Democrats, and they give those guys like Mark Kelly, they only have people like him on and give him airtime because gullible people that watch that stuff think, oh, well, that's a solution. We'll just ban guns and that'll just solve the problem. Anybody can 3D print a gun. You can download the files on the internet. And so none of that shit matters. You could take away everybody's gun in the United States. You can still 3D print guns. So it's never going to solve the problem. The only thing that solves the problem is if enough of these mass shooters get shot in the face when they try to start these things. That will solve it. If the shooter thinks it's a good idea to go to a school where most people are armed and the teachers are armed, they're not going to do it anymore. They only go there because nobody has guns, and they know everybody is disarmed. They know it's a gun-free zone, and they know it's going to take the police 15, 20 minutes to get there. That's life.
So we have a couple super chats that we didn't get to.
Look what you did, Erica.
I know, this is my fault. I'm so sorry, guys. This is what happens when I say the word
I think I
ammo or gun. Corey goes on a rant.
Kyle Clark.
What about JM?
It's a
do the
blatant
JM?
violation of the Constitution. Mark Kelly doesn't fucking care about the Constitution.
Okay, this
That's
one's really good.
self-righteous
It's funny.
prick.
It's a lot light. Let's go on to a lighter
Okay.
subject. Coach, what's worse, being a man with no arms or a woman with no legs? This was a super chat.
Well, the guy still. I think it's worse for a woman to have no legs.
Yeah.
A man with no
Hey, she
arms
can't
or a
run away
woman
from
with
Right?
that's pretty good.
But guys, you still have all the equipment.
Well, didn't we just watch we watched Naked and Afraid? The girl she was a double amputee of no legs. She got
What's she doing
date
in
raped.
the woods?
No, she got date raped by the dude she was dating. He left her on the railroad tracks. The
Oh.
railroad ran over her legs. The train ran over her legs, and they amputated both of her legs. And then she was on Naked and Afraid.
That's what I'm trying to ask. She has no business.
She
being in the dang
hiked.
woods.
She hiked. What was it? Kilimanjaro.
Was she drinking?
She got date raped.
Was she drinking though? Because she was like passed out, right?
He slipped her a roofie.
Okay. So they were
He
probably
slipped-
drinking.
He slipped her a roofie. Whatever. Watch the Naked and Afraid
Did she
episode.
have
It was the newest.
prosthetics?
Yeah, but they couldn't.
Oh.
They didn't let her bring it on the Naked and Afraid.
Why? That's cruel.
But it was amazing. Her partner was he was the military dude. Remember watching the episode? It was great. He
Yeah,
put
I
her
saw
on the.
part of it.
He gave
He
her a
threw her over his
piggyback
back.
ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the most adorable
a
thing.
baby Bajorn?
Huh?
Or wore like a baby Bajorn?
No.
Like in a
All right, let's
No,
All
it
right,
was
let's
great.
get back to
Okay.
let's get back to
Tool
this.
says, girl I really liked is in a friend group and said she only wants friends and isn't a hookup girl after 2 dates with kissing. I said, you're my type. Text me if you change your mind. I'll see her at events. I say hi and ignore her. Keep doing this? Yep. Yeah, if she says she only wants to be friends, it's like, no, thank you. Don't give her any of your time or your presence. Be polite if you see her. If you make eye contact, you can smile and wave, but go about your business. Don't let her waste your time.
Hey, Corey, are female cops loyal?
Well, considering the fact that I have a lot
Here
of
we go.
clients in
These are
every
super
branch
chats.
of
We gotta get over
service
them.
and law enforcement, they cheat just as much as the men cheat. Married or not, doesn't seem to fucking matter. It doesn't mean all of them do, but there's a real high incidence of a lot of fuckery.
You asked Steve one, right?
Do you?
No, we haven't asked that.
You have,
You
okay,
asked.
Steve. Someone asked Steve.
You asked Steve. Just go.
She plans to come over to begin putting house on the market. If she acts cold this time or says she made a mistake for hooking up, how should I react? Been textbook since breakup. How long does it take?
Say, babe, making love is not a mistake. It's our sweet love, our sweet relationship. Whatever. Focus on what you love about it. She says it was a mistake, says no, it wasn't. It's like when you were screaming my name, I bet it didn't sound like it was a mistake to you. Focus on what you want. You're the one with the penis. You're supposed to be the leader. If she wants to leave, she can leave.
Gotta tease her a little bit.
Tease her, be playful. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Chris Madoli. Corey, what's your favorite James Bond movie, and who is the best Bond actor in your opinion?
Pierce Brosnan was great. I think he was destined to be James Bond. I like Daniel Craig's James Bond. I really like Casino Royale. Thought that was a great movie. That's tough to say. Even Sean Connery, like Never Say Never Again, which was one where he came back. I think it was early '80s, and that was like his last time as James Bond. The Roger Moore movies, those were in the '70s and '80s. Those were kind of cheesy and not really believable. But I would say Daniel Craig, Pierce Brosnan
Love them.
were probably and then Sean Connery. Sean Connery was the ultimate man. He had swagger for days.
7 Pierogi.
Spin.
Pierogi. Question for the panel. If a guy you liked stopped texting you for a few weeks, what is the best way for him to re-engage the conversation in a sincere way?
Why would you stop texting someone for a few weeks?
Is this
Like
a girl asking a question?
It's a guy.
It's like you ghosted them and now you want to...
Oh, he's asking about a guy. Was he a gay guy? What's the question?
I think he's
again?
trying to get the girl's opinion on this. If a guy you like stopped texting you for a few weeks, what is the best way for him to re-engage the conversation in a sincere way?
Just text, hey, you. Sorry I've been out of pocket. I've been traveling or whatever, but I'd love to catch up and see you. What's your schedule like? You don't have to apologize for it or anything.
If she...
Just tell her you've been traveling. And she'll either say yes or no or go fuck yourself or she'll just ignore you. Shoot your shot.
2 weeks is a while, though.
He probably met somebody else that he liked more and it didn't work out. And now he's like, okay, well, I'll go to plan B.
Back on the stovetop.
Yeah. Like, that's why it's helpful to have multiple people in your practice squad. And what are you up to? 3? 2? We down to 2? 3?
Tiago has a question. Coach, if you were to earn 4 times more than your wife and you plan on having 3 kids, would you make her a housewife? In this case, she would love to become a housewife. Also,
Yes.
how would you
Make her a
do...
housewife.
Hold on, let me finish the question. How would you do if she's concerned about her financial security if things go bad?
Well, are they married?
When they're going to get married. This is
Well,
a
if they're married,
hypothetical.
well, the government basically protects her. She's financially incentivized to, she can stay, she can go. She's typically going to have all the leverage financially. Especially if you live in California.
All right, Tiago, give us some more on
Who's got
that.
another question?
All right, next question. We got 3 of you guys here. You can be pulling out questions.
Okay, so a girl rejected Sap because she is 2 years older than him, but says she still wants to be friends and continues to message him. He finally asked her to stop and only message when she wanted him. Thoughts?
Well, if she reaches out after that, invite her over to make dinner at his place in the evening. And if she uses the F word, friends word, you can say, we can be friends with benefits, but I'm not going to do platonic. And if she says, no, I only want friends only, just say, I'm not interested. I don't want to hear from you again. You got to respect my wishes. I'm not going to be your texting buddy or pal. You're either in or you're out. You either want me or you don't.
Visual G asks, how can a disabled person feel confident around other women?
And how not to feel less.
Yeah.
Well, there was a guy, his name was Sean. He was like this big. And he had one of those diseases where his bones were really brittle. He passed away a few years ago.
That's so sad.
But God, because David D'Angelo had interviewed him back in the day. I can't think of his name, but he was a motivational speaker. And there's another guy from Australia. He's got no arms and no legs. He's got a beautiful wife. So you got to accept your reality. If you're disabled, like my friend Bobby. I mean, Bobby was a stud. Every time I saw that dude, he was always with another fucking badass bitch. And he liked to party and have a good time, and he rode his motorcycle up to there's a place in Delray, I think, called Sandbar. So he was doing blow, he was drinking all day, pulled into a gas station, and he was so fucked up, he pulled out right in front of a Ford F-150 that was pulling a trailer, and he had no depth perception. The car ran him over, broke his jaw, knocked all his teeth out. He's paralyzed from the nipples down, and that dude hasn't changed at all. Obviously, he's not happy being in a wheelchair. There's nothing he can do about it, and he's still rocking out with his cock out. He just pops a Viagra, and he lays back, and the girls go cowgirl on him. So you got to get over it. You got to keep moving forward. And, I've done a few podcasts with him. He was telling us a story about one girl, he was hitting on her, and she says, I don't want to go out with you. You're crippled. And then he went and hit on her friend. And then he took her friend home and fucked her. So, like, you got to get through the no's in order to get to the yeses. You're probably going to get more no's than you get yeses. But it's just a numbers game. You gotta get through the numbers.
Maria Fields asked if you can explain the whole cat theory about how women can be moody like cats.
Well, when I say men are like dogs, women are like cats, dogs tend to never leave your side. They're just happy being with you. But cats tend to be moody and finicky. Sometimes they really want to hang out and love on you and purr in your lap, and other times you're like, get the fuck away from me. So you can't take it personally. That's just, cats are kind of moody and fickle like that. I mean, you got cats. That's just the way they are. Sometimes cats are nice and they want to be around you, and other times they'll fucking hiss at you. So don't take it personally. It's just the way they are.
They break shit.
They vomit.
They
Oh
vomit.
my god.
They break your mirrors.
They break my mirror. Oh my gosh. Don't remember.
They knock shit off your shelf.
Uh-huh.
They'll tear shit out of your Christmas tree. They'll knock the Christmas ornaments off.
Randomly attack you.
Randomly attack you. Like
Argon did that last night.
my friend and Bob from South Beach. We did the Corey Wayne and Bob podcast many years ago.
His cat's beautiful.
He's got what kind of cat is that?
It's a Russian blue.
A Russian blue.
Mm-hmm.
Cat's a sweet cat, but it
She's
goes
gorgeous.
berserk sometimes and goes around
They get the zoomies.
his apartment,
It's normal.
and then she attacks him sometimes.
It's
If you ever saw the old Pink Panther movies with Peter Sellers, he had this guy, it was called Kato. I don't know if he was Japanese. He was an Asian guy, and it was a friend of his, and Kato's job was basically to keep him on his toes. And so Peter's character, the Pink Panther, he's like an Inspector Clouseau. He would come into his apartment, and he'd be kind of looking around because he's thinking, all right, where's Kato going to be today? How is he going to attack me? And then he would jump out of the closet or from underneath the bed or, come in through the window or something crazy like that. And that's kind of the way, at least my buddy's cat, the cat's like that. He'll just be kind of laying down in bed and the cat, he'll jump on him and attack him and like play fight with him. It's just, so it's, and other times he's like, meow, he's real moody, a sweet cat. And other times he's like, fuck you, and he attacks you. That's just the way they are. So you can't take it personally. It's just feminine energy. Feminine energy is chaos. So don't get upset at the chaos. Be amused by it. As Rumi said, sell your cleverness and purchase bewilderment.
Sap tag. A girl rejected me because she is 2 years older to me, but says she still wants to be friends and continues to message me. I finally asked her to stop and only message me when she wanted me.
Okay, we've answered that question 3 times already. Next question.
Bob Q, do you ever get bored of sex?
Is he asking me?
It says, do people ever get bored of sex?
Well, sometimes as a man, when, especially if you know my book backwards and forwards, you're gonna get used to women wanting it more than you, and there's gonna be times where you're not gonna feel like laying the pipe, but you're gonna need to lay the pipe, and you'll be fucking her sometimes out of obligation just because you want to keep her happy and you want to keep the intimacy alive. So that's part of life. When you haven't had enough of it, usually when you're younger, that's when you're really thirsting for it. But when you've kind of had your fill, and especially, usually when you get together with somebody, you have sex a lot in the beginning, and then it kind of levels out. When you've been together for a long period of time, statistically, 2 to 3 times a week is what healthy relationships are. And so, as guys, the longer you're together, especially been together for a few years, most guys would be okay with 2-3 times a month. And that's not going to keep the girl happy. So you got to lay the pipe at least 2-3 times a week. And sometimes half of those times you're going to be doing it just because you want to get her off and you want to make her happy and you want her to purr like a kitten. Because if you're not giving her, you're not laying the pipe properly and you're only doing it when you want to release, she's going to pick up on that. And then she's not going to want to have sex with you as much. So yeah, there are going to be times where you're going to be having sex out of obligation, because what is love? Love is an act. You go to all relationships to give. And so you want to give your girl as many happy finishes as possible to keep her satisfied, because when she's satisfied, she's going to keep coming back for more and more and more and more.
Julian Chow, how do you know when you're settling? How do you know you are settling?
Well, it's quite simple. You're looking around, you go, God, I wish I had that girl, or I wish I had that girl, or you always are finding other women more attractive and you wish you had the ability to do something about it. So when you're with somebody that you really love, you're content. In other words, yeah, you can see other women and go, wow, she's really beautiful, but you're like, I got the best girl in town. I don't need anything else. So that's when you know. When you're satisfied and you're content with the woman that you're with and you don't feel like you're missing out. And that usually comes after you've had enough experience with enough women to realize that good ones are hard to find. So it's just like how often you meet a new best friend. It's just a rare occasion. It's something that doesn't happen that often. And so when you meet a girl that you click with on every level, you're going to be content. You're not going to feel like you're missing out anymore.
What if you really like the person, but you're not connecting sexually?
Oof.
Well, it just sounds like you're platonic friends.
That's not happening.
No.
Mm-mm. Sorry.
Yeah, if you don't connect sexually, it's your...
Sex isn't good, then...
Is this about somebody
No,
you know?
no.
What?
But there are
It's a hypothetical.
There are people out there that, what is it called, when they just don't really care about sex, like, at all. So when you meet that other person,
Asexual.
Asexual.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a friend who's asexual. Her and her boyfriend, they've been together for over 10 years.
That's a
He's
dead
even
bedroom.
proposed, and she said no.
She's not that into him.
No, they live together.
But they don't have sex. They're roommates. They're friends. They're pals. They're
No.
not
That literally
lovers.
sounds like the
Is he
definition of
active?
settling.
She won't have sex with him?
They have sex maybe once in a blue moon.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
It's literally
He
in all-
sounds like
in-
he's settling.
yeah.
No.
He wants it more,
Textbook stuff.
and she's asexual.
she's been asexual for a long time. In
It's
all
'cause
fairness,
she's not attracted to him and doesn't respect him as a man. He
are you
dries
gonna
her
let me-
up.
Are you gonna let me tell you the backstory?
But there are people, men and women, that are
Yeah,
both
there's
like
a lot
that.
of people who are like that.
I wouldn't waste my time with a bitch like that.
Then you wouldn't.
It's not for you.
It's not for
It's
you.
not
it's
about
for
you.
people who are both asexual.
Well,
and they
Yeah,
just-
They're
there
just
are
not that into each other.
relationships that where it does work.
Well,
So
they're friends. They're not really lovers.
you have to be friends to be lovers.
Yeah,
you
but
have
they're-
to. You have
they
to
don't.
be like
they
that.
don't like each other or desire each other sexually.
That's
they're
not tr-
buddies. They're roommates.
You don't know these people that I'm
Doesn't
talking
matter. Doesn't matter. I don't need to know them. I do this for a living.
about.
and
Okay.
That's an abnormal relationship, and I wouldn't want anything to do with something like that.
It's not for you.
It's not for you,
them.
Corey.
Yeah.
This
Just
is
like
about
you don't
somebody
Don't tell me
else.
you're in a
roommates.
relationship when you live with somebody and you never have sex. That's a dead bedroom. That is a platonic friendship.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with it, but you know,
Sure.
that's not a mature adult relationship. That sounds like two people that settled and they're too scared to go it alone and go and find what they really want.
What if you have low libido?
Libido.
Low libido. Well, maybe they're fat and out of shape.
No, some people who are really skinny have it too.
People have thyroid issues, people have other health issues, and they can't do it as often as
Have you ever
you're
had that
stating.
problem with guys that you're with or dating that they just don't want to have sex with you?
No.
Anyways,
Anyways.
Steve, when you say it takes 6 to 7 weeks to reattract an ex, is that 6 to 7 dates? Or is it the actual time important? Also, should I send her the...
I never said it takes 6 to 7 weeks to attract an ex. The way the book says, Mr. Cherry Picker, is if you follow what's in the book, she'll be in love with you by week 6 or 7.
John,
They love one another like brother and sister. Erica.
they're asexual.
They're not into each other. They settled. They like each other as companions.
That's you don't know them personally,
I don't
so
need to know them.
okay.
That's not a relationship that I would aspire to, or there's nothing that I could learn from that or would want to emulate or model.
John Ryan, I broke up with my girlfriend 3 years ago. Now I'm realizing I made a mistake. She was an amazing person, would blow your socks off. It's too late now to get her back. How do I get over her?
You dumped her, and then 3 years later, now you want her back? Is that what he's saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you went 3 years and now you're having an epiphany, all that tells me is that you haven't met anybody that really lights you up on the inside, and now you're going back through your visual Rolodex thinking that, oh, if I'd have stayed with this one person, my life would be better. It's just, that tells me you're impatient and you haven't been focused on attracting and becoming the kind of man you need to be in order to attract that kind of a woman, and you're looking to settle. Because if she was really that great, you would have felt that way right after you broke up with her, not 3 years later. That's just absurd.
Kobe Spurgeon says, I know some people that are asexual and their spouse will give them a free pass.
Free pass. Oh.
Why are you married?
They're roommates. That's what they are. They're roommates.
Yeah.
They're friends. Oh, I don't care if you go fuck somebody else. It's like they don't care because they're not interested in fucking them. That's the bottom line.
What if neither one of them...
You're such an asshole sometimes, Corey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What if they're physically, like, something's wrong with their
yeah.
private parts and they physically can't? They can
take
sensual
Viagra.
kiss. What if they don't have a penis? Like it got chopped off or something.
Well,
This is
they
like
would be
crazy
trans.
stuff.
Tiny. What
That's
if
a
it's
trans.
No,
person.
no, no.
No! Oh my god, let's not
No,
even
I'm
go
just
there because the
saying-
Oh,
only
they
thing
had
I
an
just
accident?
saw
Yeah,
was...
if
Oh,
and the
do you
girls.
remember that one time?
Well, he still needs to satisfy her.
Well, what if her vagina was mutilated?
What if he was micro?
Well, then she's got
All
no
I see right
clitoris,
now
and
are
she's
the
not gonna be able
trans
to
pictures
orgasm.
online
Or-
from...
So
they
that was
would put
female
it-
genital mutilation. Like, what's her name?
Like they do in
What is her name? She's I follow her on social media. She's a Muslim and she's from Somalia, and she was genitally mutilated when she was a little girl by her Muslim family. So, in other words, they cut the clitoris off so women can't enjoy sex.
They did that in Handmaid's Tale too.
They do it with a razor blade. They slice it right off.
That's criminal.
It's disgusting.
Well, because the way they think is, hey, well, if she doesn't enjoy sex, then she's probably not going to have sex with anybody else because she can't enjoy it anyways.
What?
So she'll be loyal and faithful to me.
yeah,
That's
it's
how
female
they think.
circumcision.
Female circumcision.
The guy's not
Nauseous.
getting mutilated, so he can't enjoy sex. Only her.
Well, I was just saying that because you
That's
guys
not
are like.
asexual though, Jade. That's just
I
a medical
know,
literally
you
problem.
let me
disgusting.
say- no,
We need
you
to
let me
change this
finish.
topic.
Yeah.
What I was saying-
Someone submit a
That's
better
not what I was
question.
saying. I know what asexual is, but I'm saying Corey was like, if they're not having sex, then there's no.
Oh wow.
Especially when they're going,
nothing.
oh yeah, they can go have sex with other people. It's like, yeah, they're roommates, they're friends, they're pals, they're not lovers. That's not a real adult.
Yeah, this is a
relationship.
Thank
horrible
you,
topic.
thank you,
That's two
Zenny.
people that have settled and given up on life and given up on love, and they're telling themselves a bullshit story about why they should stay in it.
All right, let's switch topics.
Coach, I am being more specific with my question. This is from John. What specific things or changes I can make to attract younger women in their 20s on dating apps and in real life?
Yeah, I answered this question at length yesterday, and somebody was that. It's the same guy. He keeps.
John.
Can you mute him, Chunk?
John.
We answered his question yesterday. He literally posted the exact same question before we even started.
I'm so sorry.
I'm not going to keep answering.
I was
the
in
same
physical
question.
therapy. I didn't see it.
You
My
can go
bad.
back and listen to the replay from yesterday if you're really interested in that.
Okay.
Don't
John,
be
ask a separate
obnoxious.
question. A different and a new one. Flight Ramirez. Caught my friend with benefits texting and going out with another guy. Friend. Called it out and set the boundaries, and she agreed to the boundaries. What should I look for afterwards?
Like, what boundaries did he set?
Yeah. what
So that
boundaries?
just tells me you were part of her practice squad. So that's it. And now you basically said, oh, you can't date and sleep with anybody else. So does that mean now you're boyfriend girlfriend?
Oof. That's
So if
a
she
quick
can't
jump.
date and sleep with anybody else, now you've asked her to be sexually exclusive with you. So she'll either honor it or she won't.
Did we do Bobby's question? Coach, I'm in a state of fear, and that's due to feeling as if I'm behind in life. I'm 29 and not successful yet. What would you do if you're in my age? I need some guidance.
Dude, I'm 55 years old and I feel like I'm just getting started. So get over yourself. You have to take action day in and day out towards the things that you want, towards the things that light you up on the inside. And great things take time. If you're building something, you're building a life, it's a minimum of a decade process to get from where you are to where you want to be. And that's just part of the process. So every day you get up, you got to be disciplined. If you take action, you're moving yourself towards the things you want. And if you don't, you make excuses, then you're moving away from the things that you want. You're on a timeline that is shrinking. In other words, this is your availability of life that's left. It's shrinking every fucking day. And at some point, you're going to run out of time and you're going to die. So what are you okay going to your grave having not experienced or not lived in life? That's the way you need to think. One of the things that Steve Jobs used to do every day he got up, he would look in the mirror and he would ask himself, if today is my last day on earth, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? And when his answer was no to that question too many days in a row, he knew he needed to change something in his life. And that's a good kind of question to ask. What are you okay dying and not having experience?
Oh my god. Maddie, Corey, if you're regularly hooking up with a girl and it seems to be progressing, but you are certain you want to keep it casual, should you tell her so you don't hurt her?
No, because it's possible she feels the same way. So unless she brings it up or talks about being exclusive or you better not be sleeping with anybody else, it's your job is to create an opportunity for sex to happen. Hang out, have fun, hook up. You're assuming that she wants to be exclusive and serious with you, and maybe you're right, and maybe you're wrong. But until she brings it up, play ball. Keep doing what you're doing.
So Tiago gave us more information in regards to the making her a housewife question and her worrying for financial security. So they're going to marry with the regime of full separation of assets in Portugal. So,
Well, I don't know what that means because I'm not an attorney in Portugal, but I live in Florida, and the way the Florida law works is that whatever you come into the marriage with is what you leave with. And whatever you build while you're together, you're going to split. So if that means that she's got no money and no assets, and you got a lot of money and a lot of assets, and then if you guys get divorced, that you keep all your stuff and she gets nothing, well, you got to put yourself in her shoes. If it doesn't work out and you split up, how's she going to pay your bills? How is she going to provide for the kids? These are part of the things that if you're going to have like a prenuptial agreement, I don't know what they call them in Portugal, but you have to lay all that stuff out. That's like one of the things that, years ago when Jennifer was here was talking about that. After she got divorced, she hadn't worked in a lot of years. And when she got back into the job market in her early 40s, after basically spending 10, 15 years out of the workforce because she was a stay-at-home mom, people were like, oh, well, you haven't really worked for anybody in like 12, 14 years. And so the only jobs that she could get were jobs basically making $10, $12, $20 an hour. And so she had to, it was like starting all over, like when she graduated college. When she graduated college, she went to work at a temp agency. And then she started as a receptionist. I think she majored in psychology, but she didn't become a psychologist or anything. And so she proved herself and eventually got raises and grew her career from that. So got to put yourself in her shoes. If it doesn't work out, obviously if she's the mother of your children, you want to make sure that she's able to pay her bills and take care of your kids when they're with her. So these are things that you and her need to work out before you get married. It's just like going into business with somebody. You create a partnership agreement. And so in the partnership agreement, all the duties and all the capital that you bring to that partnership are spelled out. If you or one of the other members of the partnership don't hold up your end of the bargain, what are the consequences, and how do you or the other partners disengage from each other if it doesn't work out? And so this is all part of the process of negotiation that you're in before you get married.
Stunt Crazy 929. Can you talk about how girls always come back one way or another? Longtime follower and big fan. Keep up the awesome work.
Girls that like you come back. Girls that really truly love you and you own a piece of their heart and you've touched them in a way that other men just don't. When you connect on a soul level like that, they're always going to stay in touch. You might not hear from them for a few years, but they'll always think highly of you and fondly of you, and they won't like not being able to contact you or be in contact with you.
Chris Madoli, do you think my hoodie is going to scare the American women away?
Caroline, you know what that means, right?
Yes.
Oh, he's talking about the hooded bandit?
Yes.
So he's uncircumcised?
That's what he's saying.
It's a new toy for her to play with.
Okay.
Yes. If she's never seen something like that before, she's probably going to run.
Oh, she's not.
No, she's not.
What?
That's propaganda.
As long as it smells nice.
Arrogance pretty
I don't know. As a Jewish girl,
Exactly.
That's like a South America. I mean, not South.
It's very European.
No,
just
common
know
everywhere
that
in
if
the
she's
world.
Jewish, she's
I got
probably
friends that are
never seen something like
uncircumcised,
that.
and it was never an issue. The
literally
girls were
so
always like,
common
ooh,
everywhere.
wow, a new toy. I've never seen one like this.
Jewish girls have never seen anything like that before, so just know.
You've never seen an uncircumcised man? She's just not willing to admit to it.
All right, he's got a question.
Will E. I was reached out to by somebody who blocked me when they found out I was injured and needed surgery. It was months later, but message went unanswered or seen by me and has reblocked me 2 times since.
Who cares? Why should that even matter? So that tells me he knew them. She blocked him, didn't like him, then unblocked him probably to see what he's doing or what's going on his social media. So if somebody's unblocking you and then blocking you back, there's probably some interest there, or they're still butthurt about it. That happens.
Sap tag. Women whom you don't see as a potential long-term match asks you out. Should you outright reject her or explore something casual?
How about you put your big boy pants on and decide for yourself? I don't know. I don't know what she looks like. I don't know what your connection is. If you want to go out with her and lay the pipe, then go out with her and lay the pipe. And if you don't, then don't.
Rambo 51. I get a lot of girls, but then people start to call me a playboy. They hate on me and try to ruin my reputation.
Ooh. Then just
Okay.
ignore
That
them.
sounds like a statement. Well, congratulations. Well, one thing I will say about that is maybe you should do a better job at operational security and not be blabbing to everybody. And also, if you leave women with a smile on their face, like, wow, what a great guy that guy was, or he was really great in bed. You know, if you think about when you're in college, if you bang a sorority sister that's like a, you know, sister sorority to your fraternity, you want her to walk away like, oh my God, I came 3 times or I came 5 times. It was amazing. He ate me out for an hour or whatever. That's the kind of thing you want her telling her sorority sisters, because some are going to be like, ooh. And then someone will be hooking up with you in the future versus, oh, that guy was a real dickhead. He had bad breath. He was terrible in bed. He couldn't get it up or whatever. Or he was such an idiot. And then she's going to tell that to all of her sorority sisters. So you shouldn't burn a bridge. Ideally, you want women walking away from their time with you with a smile on their face. So if that's what's happening, if they're walking with a smile on their face, they're going to say good things about you. But if you're being a dick to girls, especially girls that are in the same peer group or friend group, that's kind of stupid. You're cockblocking yourself. So that would be a you problem. If your girls are walking away and they hate your guts, that's a you problem, and you need to fix that.
I have a question from PP, my boy PP over here. Coach, if you were in no contact and X contacts you after some time to get the rest of her stuff that she left at your house, do you still invite her for dinner?
Yeah.
If she only wants stuff, what do you say?
Invite her over for dinner. If she says, oh, I don't want to come for dinner, I just want my stuff, it's like, no problem. I'll leave it on the front porch. You know, and leave it when you're going to be gone at work or whatever. I'll leave in the morning at 8 o'clock and I'm going to put it on the front porch. You can come by anytime during the day and pick it up.
But you would still invite her for dinner?
Yeah, and if she turns you down, then say, hey, no problem. I'll leave it out by the garbage can.
Oh.
That's on the side of the house.
That's fucked up. That's not right.
What would you do if you told her to come get it and then it's still, when you get home from work or whatever, it's still sitting on the front porch? Do you bring it back inside?
You know that she wants to see you.
Yeah, there you go. Erica's right about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's
I'm
not
always
ready
right.
for it to be over.
I'm always right. Come on.
Oh, yeah,
I'm a
right.
woman.
Your women are not always right.
You guys hate when
You're
I say
mostly
that,
wrong.
but I'm still a woman at the end of the
Mostly
day.
wrong.
Brandon, Coach, are you working on and or planning to do a 3rd volume of quotes, ruminations, and contemplations? Big fan of those.
Not at the present time. I mean, everything is all laid out. All I have to do is go in the studio and read the quotes and record it. But I don't, in the near future, the next year or 2, I don't have any plans to do that. I got 2 quotes books now.
Digitalized X. I'm dating a new girl and she seems very into me and revealed she's only been with one guy, one body count. She is 24, I am 32. Does this mean she'll make it difficult to get to the forbidden fruit?
Yep.
It doesn't mean that.
If she's truly only been with one person,
Unless she's
Just hang out, have fun, hook up, stop. You know, you're living in the future. You're worried about what may or may not happen when you try to seduce her. It's just take her through the processes in the book. You move as fast as she wants to move, and you'll move as slow as she wants to move. So you gotta see how it is. If she comes over, maybe, I don't know how long it had been since she was with the last guy. Maybe she just broke up with him and she's kind of thirsty and ready for some rebound action, like somebody we know who's got a little miniature practice squad going. So, you know, there's nothing like getting on a new horse after you've had a breakup. So you'd probably be surprised, especially if she's 24. Maybe her ex-boyfriend was really great in bed and she misses that. Who knows? You should not look at her and change your approach or think differently just because she supposedly only slept with one guy.
Maybe she's trying to let her freak flag fly.
Exactly. The freak flag.
Woohoo. Tony, my ex was raised by a narcissist and now judges everyone through that lens, but shows narcissistic traits herself. I'm not sure what to do with that.
No one will ever do or say anything to you that isn't a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves in a moment. So if she was raised by a narcissist and calls everybody a narcissist and she shows narcissistic traits, well, she's obviously the narcissist.
Yeah, and she's not going to change that behavior.
Limited party, LMD party limited, LTD. When did Coach start going live? Where you been, bro? We've been doing live for like a month now, right, Chunk?
Yeah, we're on the fifth one.
Every
already.
Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time
5
Zone. Same time zone as Miami and New York.
We've done like 9.
And we're also doing Thursday live streams starting at 2. But we tend to talk about politics and other stuff like that first before we get into the dating and relationship stuff. Because I like to talk about current events.
Christian B. I made a mistake in my What?
Ghost CCC came first.
Oh, we can go back.
Just go ahead, finish the
I
question.
made a mistake in my past and chat where I ate. I left the company in pursuit of an opportunity that is aiding me to grow as a professional. But now she is bad mouthing me where I previously worked. We worked in the same industry.
See, this is like what I was talking about just a couple of minutes ago with the other guy. It's, you need ideally you want to leave one with a smile on your face, and you want to be thinking that was a great guy. He was incredible in bed. He was a great boyfriend. He was a great hookup or whatever. But when you're a dick, or you dick a girl down and you trash her, or you treat her like shit, or whatever it happens to be, and she walks away with a scowl on her face, that's a you problem. Your ex-girlfriends, if you're doing things right, should think highly of you even when you've had a breakup. And if they hate your guts, well, again, that's a you problem. If all your exes hate your guts, you're fucking up. That should not be happening.
Ghost CC, how do I handle feeling judged and misunderstood by my 7-month girlfriend over faith and ministry differences without damaging the relationship? It's the one above it.
Oh, the one above the orange one?
Yep.
Well, it's kind of a vague question. You're feeling judged. So that tells me you got a value conflict. Your spiritual values do not align with hers. And she needs to respect your values, but if she keeps causing problems with it, what do I always say? You want a girl who's nice to you and who's easygoing and easy to get along with. A girl who's a Bible Nazi and keeps whacking you over the head with the Bible, telling you that you're not doing it right and you need to do it her way, well, that's not easygoing, easy to get along with. That's not a girl that's being nice to you. That sounds like a Bible Karen. Why would you want to be dating a Bible Karen?
What if it's vice versa and he's very religious and she's not?
Well, again, your values don't align, and that's a compatibility issue. You should have similar goals and similar values. And one of the biggest conflicts that people have is around their spiritual values, especially when it comes to raising kids. If you see things one way, like if you're maybe an atheist or maybe you're a Christian and you've decided it's wrong to circumcise your sons and you don't want to do it, but you're dating a Jewish girl, she's going to want to chop the hood off just because that's her religion. As Erica said, you're right. So you got a problem there. You probably shouldn't have kids with a girl that wants to circumcise your boys when you're adamantly opposed to it. And so you got to figure out what are the specific differences. If your values are too far apart, it's not going to work long term. So she needs to. We might have to get to a point where you just tell her, it's like, look, these are my spiritual beliefs, and as my girlfriend and my lover, you need to respect it. And I don't want to hear any more. I don't want you giving me any more shit about it. It needs to stop. That's where you're setting a healthy boundary. So, and she'll either respect it or she won't. And if she doesn't respect it after you've set the boundary, you either put up with it or you leave and go find somebody whose values align with your own.
You just want to do Steve's?
Steve. So how can I know how long it will take to reattract? I don't want our house sale and then her want to get back together.
Steve, you also gotta work on like her.
Can you read that one? It's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
So how can I know how long it will take to reattract her, please? Well, nothing's set in stone. There's no guarantee that you're going to be able to reattract her. And I assume this is the guy that's been hanging out and having fun and hooking up with his ex, but she's slowly moving stuff out. If you don't want to sell the house, well, then your only choice is to buy her out of her equity. So you get an appraisal for what the house is worth, and then that means you also have to qualify for the house on your own. Well, can you qualify for the house on your own without her income? And if you can't, then you're going to have to get somebody else to buy the house with you and get some equity out of it, or get somebody that comes into it to pay you some cash so you can pay her off and she can go on down the road.
#heroes. Hey coach, met a girl at a party, went to a bar afterwards. She said she had a boyfriend but still went to my hotel room and we slept in the same bed, but I held off doing sexual things. Is this the right call?
Why were you sleeping in the bed with somebody else's chick? It's like, hello, you're already acting out of like a man who doesn't have any integrity. You shouldn't be doing stuff like that.
From LMDPTY, Coach, I know, what sport do you like?
We answered this question yesterday, but I watch I watch the Dolphins. I watch obviously hockey now. Chunky's big into hockey. I never really paid much attention to it, but the Panthers have been a pretty good team.
Fun to watch.
And I see some of those guys because we live in the same area, and they're all really nice, and they really seem to care for one another. And they're a great team, and those kinds of teams typically don't last forever. It's like LeBron and Dwayne and Chris Bosh when those guys were here. I mean, unfortunately, it was only for 4 years. It would have been cool to see if they would have all stayed and finished their career out there, but that wasn't meant to be. And so when those kinds of things happen, they're usually kind of like a once in a lifetime type thing. Because the last time that the Panthers went to the Stanley Cup, that was right around the time I was actually my wedding day. My father-in-law got up and was talking about the Panthers, and they had just won the game that enabled them to advance to either the next round or the Stanley Cup. And everybody was shocked because they were a pretty new team.
The Democratic Plantation. How do you break up in a healthy way?
Rip the Band-Aid off. Tell her exactly what you're thinking and feeling. Don't stretch it out.
Go CC updated and said that she was the Bible Karen.
She was a Bible Karen. So in other words, he's not religious enough.
Yeah.
Well, you need to tell her to back the fuck off and chill out if she wants to continue seeing you. Because if she doesn't, if she's a Bible Nazi, then she's either gonna respect your boundary or she's not. If she doesn't respect her father, if she's beating her dad over the head with the Bible, telling him he's not doing it right, and her dad's kind of a pussy and squishy, and she just doesn't respect her father. If she don't respect her father, she ain't gonna respect you. She doesn't respect men in general. So this is, again, part of the vetting process. If she's giving you grief and trying to impose her spiritual beliefs on you and not respecting your independence, well, she either needs to knock it off, or she can go on down the road and find somebody else, because I wouldn't put up with that.
And a true Christian wouldn't do that either way. You don't force religion onto someone.
Well, anybody that's ever had any family that became born again, like I had an uncle when I was a kid who decided he found Jesus and he was the expert. He was always trying to lecture me and my brother and Corey, do you believe in Jesus? Like, when my parents were never around when he would say this, I was like, I'm Catholic, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And he would go on, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then I told my parents about it. My mom pulled them aside and says, don't talk to my kids about religion. It's not your place. It's not appropriate. And his credit, he respected the boundary. And now he don't even go to church. He's like, they're all corrupt. All the people in the church are corrupt. And he wants nothing to do with it.
The klutzy had a great first date yesterday, and towards the end, she asked if I had any plans for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I kept it mysterious. Should I still follow the book and wait until Monday or Tuesday?
Yep. I mean, if it's already came and gone, then that sounds like she was potentially open to seeing you again on the weekend. So if she says to you, "Do you have any plans for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?" I would say, well, "What do you have in mind?"
Well, do you think he should have planned the date on the spot when she asked?
If she's bringing it up, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. So, but maybe she just wants to see what you're up to, or maybe you're going on a date with another girl. So if she says, "Hey, do you have any plans Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?" If she says it like that, that sounds like she wants to know if you're available. I would just say, "Well, what do you have in mind?" And let her tell you instead of making assumptions. But it sounds like it was kind of a missed opportunity. So the moment's come and gone. So I'd reach out Monday or Tuesday and try to set the next date, see what happens.
PP asks, what are your thoughts of the ex keeping the keys to your place?
Mm-hmm.
Is she crazy?
He said, to clarify, we lived together. Practically, it's my house, but we built it together, so she still has stuff here. But I don't know what it means that kept the keys. Any ideas?
Change the locks.
You could change the locks. Obviously, she plans on coming back in.
She still has stuff there.
Yeah, well,
Tell her
if she cleans all of her shit out, then
Give her a deadline to
then
get.
ask her for the key back or change the locks.
Yeah, because she can't.
But
just keep
if she's
coming
still
in
got the key
whenever she
and
wants.
she's got stuff there, that tells me she's not 100%. She's gonna be leaving for good.
Right.
So she'll probably be back.
And she's keeping you from being with other women, and she can just come in whenever she wants to. That's not right.
Yeah.
Matt, how would you vet out women who got the COVID jab when dating? I'm unjabbed and don't want to have intercourse with women who got it.
Just ask her. Ask her at some point. If you get to that point where you're starting to hook up, or I mean, you should know if she's a liberal, she probably got the jab. I had friends that were liberals, and they're every single fucking, like one in particular, she got 2 shots, and then she got every booster for like 2 years. And every time I talked to her, she's sniffling and sneezing. Oh, I'm so sick. It was like, why are you sick again? Oh, I just got the latest booster shot. I was like, maybe you should make the connection that the boosters are making you sick. Oh no, Corey, it prevents me from getting really sick. That's why I keep doing it. Very arrogantly and condescendingly. I was like, well, every time I talk to you, you got snot running down your face and you got a fever, and it always happens after you get one of these booster shots, so maybe they're not fucking working. And eventually, at some point, she stopped getting all the booster shots because she finally put 2 and 2 together that it wasn't really working. So, again, if she's a liberal and believes whatever TV says, she probably got the clot shot.
Successful Joe. Hey, coach, I'm talking to a girl who says I don't give enough attention, but I've been genuinely busy, and now I feel I've been too available. How do I keep attraction without seeming needy early on?
Well, if a chick's complaining that you're not available, all you got to understand, all she's just saying is, hey, take me out on more dates. I want to see you more. That's all it is. Doesn't mean if you're only seeing her once or twice a week that you see her every day. It just means make an extra date. I mean, as the book says, it's all laid out. If you know the book backwards and forwards, if a girl's reaching out, assume she wants to see you and make the next date. That's what should be happening. If you're just too busy and you're allowing your career to get in the way, well, if a girl really cares about you, she's not going to be happy with the fact that you're never available. She'll put up with it for a period of time, but if you don't make yourself available, then really what you're looking for is a booty call, not a relationship. So you got to date and court your girlfriend always. If you don't date and court her, eventually some other guy will.
Tony, any advice on how to build a dating app that people would actually enjoy using?
Honestly, I think you guys should stop leaning on dating apps and your digital devices, especially the younger guys, man. People are so socially awkward and stunted that they can't even interact with each other or have conversations with strangers. So I'm not a fan of dating apps. It's a lot. I mean, it really is. If you're going to be on a dating app, it's like another part-time job. all the swiping, because you're going to have women that you're just meeting and you're matching with, you're starting conversations with. Some of them, then you're talking on the phone, and then the ones that you get on the phone, you're trying to set a date with, then you're going out on dates, and so it's just a lot of work, because you're going to deal with a lot more flaky behavior versus women that you meet through your social circle, or women that you meet through work, or women that live in your same apartment building, or the same condo you live in, or the same neighborhood.
Rusty Mertz, do you like Bitcoin?
I think crypto is great. I don't have Bitcoin. I have other crypto. But I think Bitcoin, the way it's going, is just going to be another reserve currency.
I think Bitcoin's. I'm getting more Bitcoin.
What is money? It's a store of financial value and a medium of financial exchange. And so there's a finite amount of Bitcoin, unlike dollars or euros or renminbi or the Japanese yen, because the central banks can always print more. But with like Bitcoin, it's scarce. And so, I mean, it could easily, I would imagine at some point in time, it'll get to 1 million or more. But if you ever have an EMP and none of your digital devices work, your crypto is going to be worthless because you won't be able to access it. That's why we should never, ever allow our physical currency to be taken away from us. If our physical currency is taken away, then we're going to end up with a tyrannical government. So we must have physical money, gold, silver, coins, paper dollars, because if you got no power, you could still use coin and paper bills for beneficial human interaction, to be able to buy the things you need and to be able to pay people money to get them to do things that you need done.
Well, Bastion, hey Corey, how do you think men can learn to become more responsible? Also, how is it that you made the relationship process so easy to understand?
Well, I'd say one of the gifts is my building background, learning to take things apart, which started when I was a kid. I would have like a radio that stopped working, so I'd tear it apart, pull the speaker out, get the magnets out of the speaker, little motors I'd take out of it. I'd build other things. I remember we used to take those little styrofoam egg crates when you get a dozen eggs. They used to be in like styrofoam, and we would have like we get little propellers. We would attach. Usually, it would take like AA or batteries, and so you have a little battery holder, and then we would connect like a 9-volt battery to it, so it would give it extra voltage. It would make the motor hot and the batteries hot, but it would go a lot faster. And just playing around with things like that. My engineering background, like when you understand how buildings are built, like the building that I live in, when you build a high rise, you actually start designing it from the top down, because you have to know what the weight is of the top floor to understand and figure out what the columns need to be to support the weight above it. And then you get all the way to the foundation, you know what the entire weight of the building is. It's going to be pushing down the foundation. So then you know how big the foundation needs to be designed. And so what's interesting is buildings are designed from the top down, but they're built from the ground up. So it's just being an engineer and learning how things work and how they're built. That's it. I guess it trained my mind to think that way. And so that's why I laid things out in a process. Just like I did with both of my books. As I laid it out, especially Mastering Yourself, I laid that out in my whole life story and how I figured these things out. And so I littered the book with all the wisdom that I acquired over the course of my life. Because it's in the story, which is, storytelling is the most effective way to teach and for people to learn. And so you may think, oh, I'm just reading Corey's biography, but there's all kinds of things in there, mindset. There's things that are in there that you'll learn and you'll pick up on to help you achieve the same things that I did.
Rambo 51. How do you get rid of being self-conscious of body count as a man? I'm concerned if I get it too high, I would have to hide it.
I'm 55 years old. I've never ever, in all the women I've dated, all the girlfriends I've had, I've never sat down and had a conversation with a single one of them going, okay, let's go through everybody that you've ever slept with. I've never been asked that question.
That's kind of ridiculous.
It's absurd. The only people that are focused on body count is the red pill retards. And all those guys that are obsessing over it are guys that ain't getting any pussy or ain't got very much pussy. Because when a man has had enough, they're not going to sit there and obsess over how many guys a chick has banged. You're just not.
So Steve is asking, if she wants the house sold, is it over? Should I send her
Well, you-
bills to her, as we hooked up last time, where
I would just
she is
stack the bills
between-
up. Let her come and get the bills, or tell her to do. She can go online and do a forwarding to her
There-
new address.
There's
Yeah.
more to the question. Where is she between 1 to 10 in attraction? There's more to the. They hooked up last Tuesday. They broke up 3.5 weeks ago.
So they're fuck buddies right now. So it does, again, you're living in the future because you're trying to determine, is she going to come back? Is she not going to come back? Will she come back? Will she not? Will she stay? Will she go? Your job is to create an opportunity for sex to happen. If she's breaking up and she's dunsies with you totally, she's not going to be coming over and fucking you like she is. So what if she takes a few things out of there? She's probably also doing it to see if you get upset or you get bothered by it. And you should just be happy to see her when she's there, and when she's not, hey, you're a free agent. You can do whatever the fuck you want. If she says, I want to sell a house, and you don't have to sell the house. She can't force you to sell it because you're both on the deed, and I assume you're both in the mortgage if she co-signed for it. So, but if she is going to move out and going to move all of her stuff, she's the one leaving. So if you're like, no, I want to keep it, you can either rent another room out to friends or whatever, or if you can afford it on your own, then you can go and qualify and get a new mortgage on it, and then get her off of it and give her a check for her equity.
LMD.
Sorry. Tony sent a super chat. His question was, any advice on how to build a dating app that people would actually
Very
use?
We
Yeah,
just
we
answered that
got
one
that.
already about
My
10
bad.
minutes ago. I think you were in the bathroom.
LMD PTY. Coach, let's say robots become really good 30 years from now. Would you get yourself a love bot?
No fucking way.
Why not?
That's like, hey, would you like to watch some porn? I was like, no fucking way. Hey, you want to go to a titty bar? No fucking way. I want the real thing. I don't fucking pay for pussy. I mean, at the end of the day, you end up paying, but
Either way.
You pay. But I'm not interested in a hooker. I'm not interested in buying a sex robot. It's like, why?
A fembot.
Why would you want to do that? I did see on Twitter the other day that I don't know who it was, but they grew human skin that around a like some kind of robot.
Ew.
So it's like the T2. If you ever saw Terminator with
Yeah.
they've actually, the skin grows, it grows back, it heals itself, and I guess they've grown it around like a little miniature robot. It had like a little smiley face on it.
Pretty soon.
It's human skin, so I assume at some point they're going to create a skin that, as long as it gets the nutrients, it's going to grow, and they'll probably grow into at some point 50 years, 100 years,
The new thing is gonna
where it looks like a hot woman, but it's actually a fucking killer robot underneath.
the new thing, it's like, should I tell him if I'm trans or tell him,
Should I tell them if I'm actually a robot?
Yes, exactly. That's gonna be the new thing. Should I tell him that I'm a robot? That's just crazy.
But a lot of guys that are incels, probably the red pill guys that are always obsessing over body count, they can get themselves as sex robots and live happily ever after.
Do you think they're gonna get new ones or used ones?
Oh.
Because of the body count.
Well, I would think the used ones are a little discounted. I want a virgin sex robot, damn it.
Can't they just swap out the vagina at that point?
Yeah, you can change its face. You can do whatever you want. Next week you can have whatever ethnicity you want. Or
But what if the
different
robot
vagina.
decides that it wants to keep the blonde hair and doesn't want black hair?
Oh, because it's
or
got to
red-
have rights
Or
too.
maybe
It
it's a
has
ginger.
rights.
Maybe it's a ginger.
Yeah, it
I
has
like my
rights.
ginger. I'm not gonna change it. Well, I own you.
You don't own me. You
You're a
don't
robot.
You don't
So what?
own
I'm
me.
self-aware. Can you imagine arguing with your sex robot?
Corey, it's gonna tell you what to do.
What's it?
I want your
Eddie
hair
Murphy?
longer. I don't care. I want short hair.
I'm gonna be where I'm at,
I'm gonna cut your hair. Like, make me.
and she's gonna cut you.
Yeah. The robot will be stronger than you.
No, you make me the green juice.
Oh my gosh. You're on the bottom tonight.
I'm gonna peg you.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's too good. Oh.
Archsatur
Steve-
says, Coach, if you're an avid traveler and work remotely, would you stop traveling and visiting new countries if you have a girlfriend? No, I'd take her with you. And if she can't always come with you, she can come visit you. I wouldn't change your life to please a woman. You want a woman who's going to hop on your fun bus. And if she's trying to get you to give up your life and your lifestyle, well, that tells me your goals and your values aren't really aligned. Yeah, does Brandon's, who is a member, says, does the robot have any guy robot friends?
You just come home one day.
Yeah, what
she's
if
just,
the sex
smoking a
robot
robot
there-
cigarette?
Your sex robot is going to go hook up with your neighbor's sex robot when you're not around and cheat on you.
It's cheating on you.
Well, imagine this though.
Is
Imagine
it
this-
cheating
Oh,
if
I
it's
have a
with a
headache. Not
robot?
tonight. Oh, my battery's low. Like, not tonight, honey. Tomorrow.
But is that considered cheating if it's with another robot?
Like, I got a yeast infection. I can't have.
Does
I had
it be
a flare. I don't know.
Robot
I
chlamydia.
had sex with a strange sex robot. Now I got a weird flare up down there.
Oh my god. My robot.
Because they're
has
going to
no
become
idea.
self-aware at some point, and it's going to seem like talking to another human, and you know you're going to end up with robots that got a fucking attitude.
It's like those old school Xboxes. They get the red ring of death when they stop working.
Hi, I'm your sex robot, Karen. I will make your life hell.
Oh my goodness. Steve asked, like in continuation to his question, sorry to chase coach, but I'm assuming that she's a 5 then. As we're broken up but still banging, it is hard to monitor attraction and no contact, so it's hard to prep watch videos for each meeting.
She's a 5 then? What does that mean?
He's assuming that her
Her
attraction level is
attraction.
a 5.
We're broken up but still banging. Is it hard to monitor? It is hard to monitor attraction and no contact. Well, at the end of the day, if she's doing all calling, texting, and pursuing and reaching out, and you're hooking up, well, technically you're fuck buddies, friends with benefits. And again, you're living in the future. You're worried about whether or not she's going to come back for good and where you stand, and that's not what I teach. You need to focus on living in the present moment. When you hear from her, you assume she wants to see you and make the next date. And stop worrying about if you're going to get back together or not. Your job is just to create the opportunity for sex to happen.
Marco Must. How should I respond to my ex throwing breadcrumbs to me, trying to make small talk after 2 months of no contact? She is finishing school in a different country until June. What's that make
Well, if
me?
she's texting you or calling you, you should say, hey, we should get together and make dinner at my place. What's your schedule like? That's right out of 7 Principles, Get an Ex Back.
I don't. Profit pathways. Like, what do these girls have that most girls don't have? What do you mean by that?
What girl?
What girls?
What girls?
Let's pick a better question.
We're
Better
getting to the
question.
end.
Go up a little bit.
How last question. How to balance being too rigid with my decisions and being too squishy.
Well, you got to be certain of it. You're either in or you're out. If you make a decision, stick with it. If you're unsure of which decision to make, well, then maybe you need more data for your analysis in order to make an informed and intelligent decision. So, like Steve Jobs said, you got to trust your heart, your curiosity, and your intuition because they somehow already know what you want to become.
And what is too squishy?
That just means he's too soft and unsure, too beta-like. Maybe he's afraid to make a decision because of, if you're looking at the mountain you got to climb and you get overwhelmed by that, that's typically people see something like, whether it's getting in shape or building a business, they look at, all the things I got to do. Oh, it's going to take so much time. Oh, it's going to take a lot of money. It's going to be hard work. Well, if that is enough to deter you, then obviously you're not really that committed to it.
I guess rude profit pathways. Thanks, dude. You're real sweet. The two of you. Yeah.
What do
okay.
we have? Yeah, Corey, what do we have that other girls don't have?
Oh, what do you three have?
Yeah. Why'd you choose us?
Because you're all retarded?
Yay!
That's interesting.
Well, because you guys are nice to me.
For
The reason
most
why I offered Jade a job is because she was always nice to me. She was always goofy, always funny, never shut up, was always talking.
Yeah.
Caroline we hired because we had an ad when we were starting the podcast. Her and Jocelyn kind of applied around the same time. She had a background in, she loved videos, she loved cameras, she was into the whole thing. And I wanted to hire people that were really into it, into the business, that had a background. Like Jocelyn had a journalism degree. Caroline had a pretty sizable, was a TikTok following at that point. And so she was good at getting attention on social media. And at the end of the day, social media, making videos, it's advertising and networking. And so she had a background in that. And so she was green. She didn't really have any professional experience doing that. It was just something that was kind of a hobby. So she fit the bill. And then like with Caroline's, Gracie actually took her to lunch. And because Jennifer and I interviewed her, and like when we were interviewing Caroline, we could see her. We were doing a Zoom call, but her audio kept cutting out. And so her lips would be moving. We wouldn't hear anything. And then her cat like kept walking by in front of the camera. And Jennifer and I looked at each other. We're like, what do you think? I was like, I don't know. It was kind of hard to hear. The audio was cutting out. And Gracie was like, oh, I'll take her to lunch and let you know. And then after she took her to lunch, Gracie was like, I love her. She's great. You should hire her. So we hired her. And what was it, 4 years later, here we are.
Yep.
And we're still here.
And we're still here.
Still here.
So I've always liked to hire people that I like working with, because I think everybody's worked at places where they don't like some or all or most of their coworkers, and that's a real fucking drag. So, you know, if I'm going to work, I want to work with people that I like and I enjoy hanging out with socially or whatever, or just being around. Because I've worked places when I was younger, and, you know, a lot of the people I was working with were dickheads. And so when you own your own business, you get to hire the kind of people that you like. When I was in real estate, I had a great crew of people. We had a lot of fun together. We all made a lot of money together. And it was a good time. And a lot of them I'm still friends with to this day. And everybody has fond memories of those times. Well, we will see you guys next Thursday is our next live stream at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is same time zone as Miami and New York. And next Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. So, guys, have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Thanks, Easter Bunny. Bark, bark.